welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and we're about to get into more of my 2 cents. Now, I have done the research of the Father. Ooh, if I cared enough to edit this video, that's where that clip would be, but I don't, and so you got me instead. Yeah, I've done some research, okay, and it really didn't require much. I was able to go to just 1 or 2 oversaved people's profiles on social media and find all of the quote graphics that I needed to make this video. Y'all gotta stop reposting some of this stuff. It makes you look very immature, spiritually and otherwise. Especially some of y'all pastors and y'all wives. Oh my goodness. I don't understand why some of y'all repost some of these quote graphics knowing that you're saying this to someone. Like you're directing this at either your church members, your friends or family, associates, or something that you feel like are missing the mark. And this is your way of basically subliminally shooting your shot at them and throwing shade without saying it directly to them. Some of this stuff, as leaders, y'all should just stop reposting. Like, I'm just here to tell you, it's not a good look. And it makes you look very judgmental and immature. So, doesn't matter. It's my content, and we're about to get into it. The 3 things that I want you to remember while we are having this discussion is 1, you are not alone. 2, you are not crazy. And 3, God still loves you, okay? Your creator is amazing. That's why you're here. You're the gift, honey. And if you're wondering, Christian, why you said this black pen in all of your videos, well, just as this spot has appeared, child, I'm pretty soon I'm going to have to get a whole new desk, okay? Or just have stuff all over the desk to hide these spots. This black line is still here from last week's videos, and so I'm like, "Ooh, let's hit them with a pen." You know, it got my business name on it. And I'm like, oh, "That's cute, little slide advertise or whatever." But no, so that's why this pen is here. I have not been taking any notes. I'm just gonna be going straight from the dome and the phone on these. Okay, so we're gonna go through some of these quote graphics that I've seen on social media that speaks to false humility, spiritual shade, and all around shallow thoughts in mind. Oh my goodness. I'm going to give my 2 cents. And Minister Harafe will be here to guide me if I get out of line. Okay? All right. First up, this quote says, "I might be hanging by a thread, but at least it's attached to the hem of his garment." Really? Really? Talk about the super saved saints of it all. So here's the thing about this quote. I might be hanging by a thread, which means barely getting by, struggling, have a lot going on, depression, finances, mental, relationship with the children, your job, whatever. Might be hanging on by a thread, child. Basically, it's getting thinner and thinner. My grip is getting weaker and weaker. But at least it's attached to the hem of his garment. So the thread that you're holding on to is blessed. Is that what you're saying? That thread has the healing power to take all of your problems away, right? Again, it's really giving like the shallow of it all. Like it doesn't really have any depth. It was supposed to hit, right? Like this was meant to hit and like empower and encourage somebody who too is going through something, which we all are. Let's be very clear here. But it's one of those things where it's like it's encouraging, but at the same time, it's lazy. So you're holding on by a thread, but it's attached to his garment. Can you please get up, take that piece of thread, and piece your ish back together? Can you do that? Can you take initiative and accountability instead of holding on to the garment of someone else who already helped you? But my 2 cents. The next one, make sure you are not the weapon formed against yourself that is causing you not to prosper. Now, okay? See video from 3, 2, 5 days ago? Child, the videos be coming in abundance, so I'll be missing which ones posted recently. But make sure you are not the weapon formed against yourself that's causing you not to prosper. I kind of like this one. This one kind of hidden. It's kind of cute. It's kind of on point. Because, again, the video from a couple of days ago where I said, are you waiting on God or are you using that as an excuse for inaction? Right? You have to know that the things that you're doing or not doing, what they're attached to, what they're rooted in, what the intent is, what's causing certain things to happen, what's the correlation for things that are resulting in certain ways. What exactly is your position in all of it? One thing that is not taught in church, period, is accountability. It's just not. A lot of things are often placed on God, on your creator, that entity being the reason why certain things haven't happened yet. It ain't his will. You're out of his will, right? You missed this, right? You didn't do that. You did this that caused this not to happen. It's not the accountability of saying you're not taking the right action. You're not making the right choices. You're not, showing up for yourself, not just in church. It can't always be everything is church focused. Some things are just going to be in life, period. If you want to move into a new home, if you want to buy a new car, if you want a new wardrobe, if you want a different career, you have to show up and do something differently. Everything can't be, this ain't working out for me because I ain't been coming to church. This ain't working for me because I ain't been paying my tithes. That's not what real accountability is in life. Church members are real humans outside of church. So saying things like, make sure you're not the weapon formed against yourself, I take that as, make sure you're not the one stopping you from getting to where you say you want to be. Okay? Because I know a lot of people use the no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and they, again, blame that on other people. Haters, right? Opposition from the outside, people that don't want to see them do well, and they're praying and wishing against them. There ain't that many weapons formed against you, to be quite honest. A lot of people ain't thinking about you like that. But I digress. So I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. I can get with it. 10 out of 10 recommend. But make sure that you're not in your own way. That's what I will say. Next. Sometimes God puts you in places alone because he needs you to realize you don't need anybody but him. What are we talking about? It's the isolation of it all. Again, it's the control of it all. Sometimes God puts you in places alone or makes you feel alone. I don't know. Because he needs you to realize you don't need anybody but him. Let me tell you guys something. I don't know if y'all are aware or not, but most of you who post stuff like this trying to be deep really make God seem like a narcissist and abusive and manipulative and toxic. Why is isolation necessary for you to realize that you should depend on me? If somebody said this to you I ain't gonna say you, me. I use myself as an example. If I said sometimes my husband puts me in stressful situations so he can realize that I don't need nobody but him. You get where I'm going with this? Someone that you're supposed to be in a chosen state of love, a chosen state of worship, a chosen state of connection and relationship, a chosen state of salvation, them saving you and having to be your everything. You chose this person, yet they keep on doing negative things to you to make you realize how much you need them. Don't try to do nothing without me. And we have people in church who say these things. And we have songs, gospel songs, who say this, I'm nothing without you. But isn't it he who lives in me? I could be wrong, but I don't like this song. Go to the next one. Next, if you stop going to church because of people, you never came to church for God. Oh my God. What? What are we talking about? Again, no. This is a no for me. Santa Claus, this is a no for me, Santa. No, Santa, no. If you stop going to church because of people, that's who's in the church. What do you mean you never came to church for God? I did come. You did come. He came, she came. We all came for God, and we got the people who are not God-like, who are not godly, who are not God-focused, who are not God-led, right? Who are not kind like God, who are not thoughtful, compassionate, considerate, peaceful, faithful, committed, encouraging, like God. So, in essence, I may have kind of come for perfection, but I kind of. So maybe if anything, the expectation level is too high when you start going to church or go to church. But in reality, you can't tell people to pretty much stay where you are because these kind of people are everywhere. No. I go to the gym too and I don't get accosted. I don't get isolated. I don't get talked to crazy. I don't get treated bad at the gym and the general public around strangers. So when I come to church amongst people I know, I should not get that kind of treatment. I go to work all week and I don't have no problems. But I come here and I'm supposed to stay because I came for God and not the people. Lies you tell. If somebody unlocks these doors, that's a human. If somebody's a greeter, that's a human. If someone leads praise and worship, human. Preachers, human. Offering basket holders, human. Right? Church workers and volunteers, humans. I am coming for human engagement. Y'all got to stop saying stuff, attempting to be deep, and it's giving stand up in the pool. Right? Like this is a 2 feet pool and you are literally 5'9". Get up. You ain't drowning. You ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. So I don't like this one. I don't like this one. And this is how you should like break this stuff down again. It sounds cool on the surface, I suppose, for those throwing shade. This is a shady post right here. You throwing shade at people that don't attend as regularly as you think they should. So this is shade. If you stop going to church because of people, you never came to church for God. I did come. I just didn't like the people, so I left. Okay. Next one. Women in ministry must, capitalize all on the must. Women in ministry must be protected. Women must be protected in general, but an emphasis on those in ministry. Okay. Let me tell you guys why I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this because if you're not familiar with the Holiness Church or Pentecostal or Baptist, church or whatever, it is not it is frowned upon. I'll say it. That's easier. It's frowned upon to have female pastors or women in leadership. Women in leadership, period, is frowned upon in the Holiness Church. It has gotten better and it has evolved, but even in scripture, and I don't know which ones, don't quote me, and I ain't finna try to quote it, but I'll give you a summary of the thought process and the beliefs, right? That women have their place as subordinates in ministry, but they are not meant to lead or to be given word or the gospel or preaching over men. If there's a man in the church, that's the one that needs to be talking, leading the name on a building. Okay. So yeah, this right here is definitely a shot to anyone who doesn't have that, who doesn't share that same thought process that women have a right to be high up in ministry. Women in ministry must be protected. I get that we usually have a little more forethought and we're able to see and discern, but I feel like that's something that can definitely be shared from the pulpit or the pews, right? I don't know if saying women in ministry have to be protected as if though they're out here being they're martyrs. That's not what's happening. I don't know of any women who have been hanged or burned at the stake lately, or have a scarlet letter written on the back of their long robe in public, and people have to walk miles apart from them. That's not happening. So this kind of gives a false narrative that women in ministry have to be protected because they're being done wrong or shut down or unofficially ousted, if you will. I don't like that. This is giving divisive, but y'all go off. Next one. And this is actually the last one. Before you get offended, get clarity. All caps with an underline under the get clarity. There are so many people walking around in offense over imaginary situations. Instead of running to Facebook, pick up the phone and have a conversation with 2 red exclamation marks behind it. And let me add that this was a leader who posted this. Before you get offended, get clarity. There are so many people walking around in offense over imaginary situations. Instead of running to Facebook, pick up the phone and have a conversation. Now I have multiple feelings here, and this is based off of my situation. I said it a couple of videos ago. I am a huge advocate for addressing things head on. And I know that some people will say, well, I don't like confrontation. It's not so much as confrontation. It's not so much as confrontation as it is simply addressing something and asking a question. If you assume that you are not on good terms with someone or something has happened, you're probably right. If the energy, the interaction, the engagement, socially, spiritually, emotionally has shifted, you can feel that you're not crazy, and you know that it has. And so I agree about the confronting or the talking about or the presenting it in calm, cool, collected question form. Like, are we okay? Has something changed? Don't go into it with the, have I done anything to offend you? Don't go into it with that, because I'm not a highly apologetic person. I'm not down with the apologies. And I used to make people so mad in church because I would not throw out apologies. I'm not apologizing to you. I'm not going to even hit you with the, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. I'm going to withhold that because I'm not a sorry person. I'm not sorry. Now, if you took offense to something, you can definitely let me know. And if I see my part in it, I'll take accountability. If I don't, you're just going to be sitting there mad because I'm not throwing it out. Like that. No. Because some people just want to always be a victim and they want to pull you in and feel like they conquered the situation by getting you to apologize to them when they were the ones that simply needed to address something, needed to express something, needed to clear things up. But if you have to always be the one to bring topics and conversations to the table, sometimes you do get tired and just exit out. And I've done that. And that's okay. Because the fault does not lie with you repeatedly to find out what's going on with another adult, another human, another church member. Again, I'll say, why is there so much offense in the church? This should be the last place that there's drama or problems. And I know it's because there are humans who are inhabiting the church, but it's like, should we not be doing the work of the Lord to where there's not even a opportunity of that? Like, I don't know. I'm at the point where now I feel like some of y'all shouldn't even be talking in church. Just go listen to the music, listen to the word, and leave. Like, don't try to become friends with people. None of that, because it becomes too much. It's too much involvement with people who have not done the work aside from church. Some people have problems in church because they haven't done the work outside of church. They use church as a band-aid. And they have other familial issues going on. They have other emotional issues, mental issues they haven't dealt with. And then they come into church and then everything's a problem all the time. And it may not be the people in church doing anything to you. It's just work you haven't done. So you take everything offensively. You're still carrying on trauma from family issues, not being the favorite or being overlooked or abused in some way. You have to do the work outside of that before you come into an organization that's meant to bring people together under one belief and one value system. And it's easy to always feel like you're being picked on or people are lashing out at you or isolating you. Do the work on the underlying issues first, and then build from there with new people who didn't do anything to you. Now, for the people in church who also have not done the work, that's when y'all attract each other and the drama ensues. And so the Facebook post starts to fly and all the subliminals in the shade, like this post. And it makes you wonder, like, what was going on to make you sit down and type that? Like, nothing ever said, let me just call and ask, right? Let me see, we can do lunch. Next time I see him or her at church, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to ask or whatever. That's an adult response, and it's also accountability. And so we're not taught that in life, in our homes. And we're also definitely not taught that in church as a resource for how to overcome offenses or hurt. And while at your corporate job, they give you the resources and the tools. HR, right? If you want to talk to somebody else over your superior who's not treating you right or fair, you have other means, and those people do not have to tell your superior that you talk to them about them. There are things that protect you in your feelings and emotions so that you can be the best you in a work environment, and so they don't get in trouble for discrimination. But it seems like at church, it's just the wild, wild west up in this bitch. Like, why? Like, why don't nobody want to talk to nobody else about what has been said or done? There has to be a safe place for all of us to gather, talk, engage, and build, if you just want to be honest. And so this is my thing. Definitely get clarity. I don't have a problem with that part of this comment. There are a lot of people walking around with offense, and some of them are from imaginary situations and some of them are not from imaginary situations. Don't throw people's valid concerns to the wayside of, you need to get over it. Church ain't for that. We ain't here to be doing that. No, there are a lot of broken people in church. Like I just said, a lot of people come to church expecting to gloss over other trauma and issues they need to deal with. So it's not about telling people you're imagining that. You're not imagining it. I had people tell me I was imagining that that friend that tried to fight me in church was doing what she was doing. But then after she did that, everybody was like, oh, so yeah, it was a buildup. So I was imagining all of the things that led up to that? No, I was not. I was also addressing everything too. And that wasn't helping it. So it was a cutoff. It was a disconnect notice put on her chart. And when I came to collect and to disconnect, she wanted to get rowdy, right? So know your limits, know your boundaries, and know yourself. This is why it's so important to not get lost in ministry, but to just add it to who you are as an individual. Because church should not be your identity. And I don't care what none of y'all say. Church should not be your identity. It's where you go. It may be where you take a membership, but it doesn't have to become your everything in your lifeline. That is dangerous, because you're going to get hurt when you put everything into an organization that has hundreds of thousands of other people in it. There are church people everywhere, at your job, right? At the club, at the bar, at Ross, at Walmart, at Target. Church people are everywhere because these are people. But the only difference is you have a choice of how you engage and what you expect from believers. So start with yourself first, right? I'm going for relationship. And if I don't feel the connection that I need to God or the people, I'll go somewhere else. And that's okay. And if you never feel it in the building, you can always feel it at your house, in the park, right? In your car. It starts with you, and it's from within. So I've enjoyed these little quote graphics that I found on the social medias, honey. Now, if y'all find any more that y'all would like me to give my 2 cents on, please do that. I think this is a great, cool segment to do, and I look forward to doing more of them with you. Catch me next time. Tune in and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you later for more of my 2 cents.